As a web developer, you should try to ensure that everyone can access and enjoy the internet. Almost like an architect that needs to design a building with ramps and rails so that it is accessible by all. You need to build a website in a certain way to improve accessibility. When the Web Accessibility Initiative, or WAI, was launched in 1997, the creator of the World Wide Web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, said, "The power of the web is in its universality. Access by everyone, regardless of disability, is an essential aspect. Web accessibility aims to allow people with disabilities to understand, navigate, and interact with websites. A common misunderstanding is that it refers to visual disabilities, but in fact, it includes all disabilities that affect interaction with websites, such as audio and visual disabilities, cognitive and neurological disabilities, and physical and speech disabilities." The W3C Web Accessibilities Initiative develops specifications and supporting resources for accessibility. These are considered international standards for web accessibility. In fact, web accessibility is becoming a requirement in many industries. In 2016, the European Union approved the Web Accessibility Directive, which requires websites and mobile applications of public section bodies to be accessible to those with disabilities. Let's explore some examples of how accessibility is provided to those with different disabilities. People living with disabilities often use assistive technologies to aid them in browsing the web. Screen reader software can read the content of websites and everything that is happening on the device. Screen readers are used not only by blind and vision impaired users, but also by those with reading or learning difficulties. Speech recognition software can turn spoken words into computer commands or dictate inputting text. This is useful for people who may not be able to use a mouse or keyboard due to physical or neurological disabilities. Subtitles and video scripts in videos provide assistance to those with audio and visual disabilities. There are many steps that you can take to improve accessibility. It is good practice to think of accessibility from the beginning of a project. It is a lot harder to rework the project to be accessible later on. If you use the correct HTML structure and appropriate elements as a foundation, it will greatly improve accessibility. In this course, you will learn to structure your HTML properly and follow best practices to support assistive technologies. For example, having text that is not contained within proper tags, like paragraph or heading tags, makes it harder for assistive technologies to interact with the content. Similarly, using multiple line breaks to break up text and add space also presents barriers to accessibility. These are just simple examples to improve web accessibility. However, in the future, you'll probably develop very complex user interfaces, and to make them accessible may not be as straightforward as just having correct HTML. Fortunately, one of the tasks of the WAI is to define the Accessible Rich Internet Application, or ARIA specification. The ARIA specification outlines different techniques to improve accessibility for complex web apps. Now you know about different assistive technologies and that you should use the correct HTML structure and appropriate elements to improve accessibility.